Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'd like to take a few minutes to speak to you about the Islamophobia Studies Center. Many people ask, what is it that we do? Why is the Islamophobia Studies Center is such an important part of the pushback and countering the rising tide of Islamophobia in this country? Islamophobia Studies Center is a research unit that is dedicated to documenting, to examining, to researching everything that has to do with Islamophobia, both in the United States, Europe, and across the world. To do so, we have many different pieces to the puzzle. There's a set of conferences that are sponsored by the Islamophobia Studies Center in collaboration with other institutions, including UC Berkeley, GTU, Zaytuna, and others. The purpose of these conferences is to bring scholars together that are working on one facet or another of Islamophobia, to share their research, to present their most recent finding, and create an environment of a collaborative academic environment where we are seeing and examining what is happening in different settings. The research that comes out from these scholars from across the globe, and now we have about 200 of them that are working in various settings, gets to be fed into the journal, the Islamophobia Studies Journal, where these research gets published. And once it's published, it is easy to become deployable in various academic settings in the classrooms, as well as to influence and impact policy making. Data and research impact policy. Without data, without research, without documenting the phenomena, putting a qualitative and quantitative picture into the phenomena of Islamophobia, whether it's in the United States, in Canada, France, Norway, or in Kerala, India, or India in general, without data, it's very difficult to put our finger on what is happening. We speak of hate crimes. We speak about increasing violence. We speak about the greater use of anti-Muslim rhetoric. But this actually, we saw the phenomena increase and we documented the tipping point. And literally 2 years ago, our conference was speaking about Islamophobia, a tipping point toward violence. And sure enough, the data and research pointed to the intensification of Islamophobia and tipping toward violence becoming acceptable in society. Our work in the Islamophobia Studies Center is to bring together all the strands of research, which also added to us creating what we call the Islamophobia International Consortium. This right now have 26 universities that are connected in research from across the globe, because the phenomena is no longer contained to one area or one region, but rather it's a global phenomena. So the Islamophobia Studies Center is research data to impact policy. And currently we have 2 lines of research that are focusing on K through 12, which is say how to train teachers, how to train administrators, how to deal with schools in countering Islamophobia, especially when we have many cases of bullying, anti-Muslim content, and rhetoric taking place in the school. The second line of research is going toward examination of Islamophobia in public health. So far, much of Islamophobia work has been deciphering media content, but not looking at the impact of Islamophobia on Muslims themselves, or those who identify or look like Muslim. For example, the Sikh, who tend to be actually a primary target for Islamophobia because of their dress. So in this, how are the victims of Islamophobia, how to deal with this, as well as Muslims who are also healthcare providers. As we know, there's a large Muslim medical establishment in major cities. And what we see is that many doctors, Muslim doctors, face Islamophobic discourse from their own patient. And as such, how to train medical providers, public health providers, in order to actually educate and become acculturated of how to counter it at the intersection of public health and the broader society. The Muslims themselves, who are essentially facing right now a post-traumatic stress syndrome type of environment by just observing and listening to the news, having encounter with their colleagues in settings, or even just looking at the presidential level where the president is increasingly using Islamophobic discourse on a daily basis. So this is another line of research that we are engaging in terms of the intersection of public health and Islamophobia. What my message to you is the following: without research and data, we cannot change and impact policy. And therefore, Islamophobia Studies Center is at the pinnacle of this work. And I would have to say that today at Berkeley, this is the rising base for the studies of Islamophobia, and the Islamophobia studies field is really located here in the environment of UC Berkeley, Zaytuna, and GTU. And we encourage you to connect with us in as many ways as possible, because again, to effect policy, you need research and data. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.